Did you know there was a dam that only lasted for 2 years and wasted almost billions of dollars, and we wasted $22 billion on a project that no one used? Today we will explore 5 useless mega projects in the world that costs billions of dollars but failed. Number 1. The Big Dig, America. An arduous 15 years in the making, the Big Dig turned out to be America's most troubled highway mega project and the priciest overall. Pretty much everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. The mega project involved redirecting the highway that passes through the center of Boston into a 3.5-mile tunnel and called for the construction of additional tunnels and a bridge. A major headache for Bostonians who had to endure years of severe disruption during the build, the Big Dig, which eventually cost an inflated $22 billion, 17.9 billion pounds, kicked off in 1992. From the get-go, it was dogged by a plethora of problems that included budget overruns, long delays, design flaws, shoddy workmanship, accusations of negligence, and more. Number 2. The Interstate H-3 highway. The most expensive U.S. highway mega project on a cost-per-mile basis, Interstate H-3, which cuts through the Hawaiian island of Oahu, has had a hugely problematic and controversial history. Originally proposed in the early 1960s, the environmentally damaging highway was strongly opposed by many Native Hawaiians. The mega project didn't commence until the late 1980s with protests, environmental complaints, and legal challenges significantly delaying its completion. Costing a budget-busting $1.3 billion, which is equivalent to $2 billion, 1.7 billion pounds, today, the highway eventually opened in 1997, but to this day local opposition remains strong and many Native Hawaiians refuse to use it as they believe it's cursed. Number 3. Superconducting Super Collider, USA. Nicknamed the Desertion, the Superconducting Super Collider, SSC, was a proposed particle accelerator complex in Texas that would have been the most powerful of its kind in the world. Initially, it was meant to be America's answer to the famous Large Hadron Collider, LHC, in Switzerland that was completed in 2008. Preliminary work on the SSC began in the late 1980s, and by the early 1990s around 15 miles of tunnel were bored and 17 shafts sunk on the site. Then Congress pulled the plug. The budget had surged from $4.4 billion to more than $11 billion, and the mega project was deemed to have been grossly mismanaged. All in all, a painful $2 billion of U.S. taxpayers' cash, equivalent to roughly $3.7 billion, 3 billion pounds, today, was wasted on the project. Number 4. St. Francis Dam, USA. St. Francis Dam, which was located in the San Francisco Canyon around 40 miles from downtown Los Angeles, was constructed between 1924 and 1926, and made up a key part of the Los Angeles Aqueduct, which was the city's main source of water. That was until March 12, 1928, when the dam collapsed, killing hundreds of people. The brainchild of self-taught civil engineer William Mulholland, the dam was an accident waiting to happen. A multitude of engineering defects destabilized the structure, which was built on shaky foundations in an area with thoroughly unsuitable geology for such a dam. Mulholland was cleared of any wrongdoing, but the catastrophic collapse put an abrupt end to his long career. Number 5. The Darien Scheme, Panama. The doomed mega-project that changed the course of Scottish history, the Darien Scheme was an attempt by the Kingdom of Scotland during the 1690s to establish a colony in the Isthmus of Panama, what we now know as Panama, and construct an overland route connecting the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. The scheme was backed by a staggering 20% of all the capital circulating in Scotland at the time, the equivalent of tens of billions in today's money. Several factors foiled the scheme: poor planning, ineffective management, English and Spanish opposition, and outbreaks of disease that took the lives of countless workers. So, unsurprisingly, it was abandoned in 1700. The failure of the mega project, which impoverished the country, is believed to have been one of the main drivers that led to the 1706 and 1707 Acts of Union that united Scotland with England. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, press the subscribe button for more informative content.